Hi everyone, I'm Shiva. I'm from California, Mission San Jose High School in California, USA. If you don't mind, could you start introducing in like a round robin style your name and where you're from? I think Dr. Rachel's driving, so I'll just be introducing Dr. Rachel is from Ireland. So, uh, yeah, you guys can introduce yourselves now.
Hi, I am Sumanto. We know each other as a long batchmate when we did our observership in back 1 month ago in Ganga. So that's it.
Yeah, good morning. If it's good morning there, yeah, I'm Dr. Ramesh. I'm a trauma surgeon at Ganga Hospital.
Okay, so today's presentation will be on Gen AI, enabled personalized diabetes risk management using patient health records. Today's agenda, we'll have a small recap, introduction, what is DRM, inputs and outputs, DRM flow, technologies used, cost analysis, scope and future work, and conclusion. So a little recap. Last time when I was in Ganga, I did a presentation on a Gen AI chatbot in predicting diabetes. However, while the chatbot was effective in improving patient communication, it also revealed certain limitations in predictive capabilities, particularly in complex real-time data analysis. So from this, I derived a new work following the AI generated recommendations. So this DRM's aim is to analyze whether diabetes can be controlled through exercise, if medication like metformin is needed, if we can do GLP-1 treatments, or if a more serious approach such as insulin is required. And finally, the AI will give recommendations for all of this. What is DRM? So I'll be using the word DRM a lot. DRM means diabetes risk management. It is the Python script that I created, which uses GenAI, simple mail transfer protocol, and is developed to provide suggestions to manage diabetes risks. I'll be talking a lot about the input and output later on in the presentation, but just a little recap. The input is data from the patient's health records. So yeah, I'll be talking a little bit more about it later, but the output will be the level of risk for developing and some suggestions it will give for low diabetes risk. It will give like lifestyle changes like exercise, what exercise you need to do. Medium, it'll give suggestions of metformin. And if it's more serious, it will tell you that insulin is necessary. In general, it will tell you if insulin is necessary or not. But so drm.py, like I mentioned, is my Python script. Let's just take any major hospital like Ganga or even Apollo, or here in the US, we have Kaiser and Washington. The one thing all of these hospitals have in common is their huge patient health records. And patients will obviously do annual health checkups, right? So we'll filter out patients that have 5 years of data and we'll filter it into the CSV file with all of the required information. CSV file is a comma separated values file, which will act as our input. It will have the name, the age, the BMI, the HPAC level, the fasting sugar, heredity info, language, and email address. These are all required information that the patient will have recorded in their health file. So we'll take the CSV file and we'll run it through my drm.py Python script to create an fn text, which will act as the output. And this can be done for multiple patients, and they're all customized. This will then go into our foundation module, which for now I'm using GPT-4, but this has so much scope and potential for more. I'll be talking about it in the next slide, all of the scopes and everything. But it will then act as like a prompt for the GPT-4 and give out a response, which is again an fnln.txt file. Again, this is customized and it's done for each patient. This will then use the internet to go to the patient's email inbox. It will also use something called simple protocol transfer. And this is also personalized for each patient. And I'm using the word personalized a lot because the GPT-4 does a personalized email for the patient according to the patient's age, BMI, and HPAC levels. Again, the CSV, DRM, and text files act as the host. And right now, I'll be doing a little bit of a demo. So I just want to know if anybody has their email open right now and is willing to check it.
Oh yeah, I do have my email.
Okay, so real quick, if you don't mind, you can text me as well. I can add your email onto the CSV file, and I like to do like a demo for you.
I've sent you in the chat.
Yeah. So right here, if you can see, we'll also change Sumanto's name off screen. This is so his age is now 23, his BMI is 19, his HPAC level is 5.8, his fasting sugar is 87. He has no heredity of sugar. This is just a test case that we're using. I just want to show a really cool thing that will happen from this. So this is done. I will. As you can see in my screen, the CSV file goes as an input and the Python script creates a text for the Gen AI prompt for each and every patient. This text file is sent to the prompt and Gen AI responds for each and every input. This will then send an email to the respective patient's inbox. This is the text file that will go into the Gen AI prompt. As you can see here, this is the response from Gen AI. This will then be sent to the patient's inbox as an email. Few minutes, Sumanto will get an email, a personalized email in his inbox. And when Sumanto does get that email, he can share it to all of us and we can have a look at it.
So should I check my mailbox?
Yeah, it should now show in Sumanto's inbox and he can share it to us and we can all go through it.
Yeah, are you able to see my mail
Yeah.
which I received?
So this is a personalized health report to Sumanto. It shows that lifestyle change modifications he can do is just like regular physical activity, diet. He has rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. Some recommendations: he should focus on cardio more, strength training, flexibility exercises, walking, jogging, all of those done. And if Shumato, if you don't mind, can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
So food recommendations, it actually gives you keywords on what to search up on YouTube as a hyperlink. So if he clicks on it, it will then direct him to his YouTube where it will say diabetic friendly recipes in English. So if let's just take Bengali for example. If we change his language to Bengali, this will all give recommendations in Bengali. So if he was a low sugar patient, his keywords will be low glycemic index foods in Bengali. And if you don't mind a little more down, you'll see interventions to manage blood sugars. He has his, I would recommend you to continue monitoring your HPAC levels. There are no immediate need to consider for GLP and everything. These are just, again, it's consulting you as if it's a doctor itself. And I'll be talking a little more. Shumant, if you don't mind, you can stop sharing now.
Thank you.
So I'll share my presentation once again, and we'll talk about future scopes. So, like I mentioned in the GLP-4, this acts as a foundation module and is basically the brain of this entire operation. So just let's imagine if we take any doctor who specializes in a field, like if they're really good at diabetes and they're like very accurate, we can take their basically we can take them and create a model out of the thing and we can run it as our own. For now, I'm using GPT-4's existing model as the foundation, but it has so much scope of creating any doctor's brain, basically. Furthermore, we can have text-to-speech, doctor's voice and facial expressions. But for now, I'm more interested in the model of creating a model because for my undergrad, I would really want to focus more on the medicine side than the technology side. So this text to speech, it will all come as like a derivative as it. For now, I'll be focusing more on creating my own module or model for any doctor. So cost. Well, for one singular patient, the cost is approximately 5 cents or 4.19 Indian rupees. And the technologies being used in this thing is OpenAI's GPT-4 Foundation module. And this model can actually be used in major hospitals right now. All the hospital needs is to create an OpenAI account. This can have, by creating this, they can have access to any model they want. GPT-4, GPT-4o, GPT 3.5, everything. And they can use their GPT-4's AI cloud interface infrastructure. Sorry. All they need to do after this is create an API key. The key ensures that the hospital can interface Gen AI using API functions, calls, and receive responses. The queries are measures in tokens per minute. So to conclude, I want to talk more about the DRM.py and how it's such an impact in the medical data analysis field. So hospitals can roll out personalized emails to each of their patients about what they should be doing to lower their risks of developing diabetes. They can be subscription based, costing more than TPMs so that passive revenue is generated. The process or method can be leveraged for any usage like BP, cholesterol, etc., etc. Hospital visits can be reduced. So I think a lot of doctors are present here, and we all know that many patients come for small, even though they're doing come for like BP checkups, their BP is abnormal. We can reduce those visits and focus on more prioritized hospital visits like checkups, which are very crucial. And I'd like to thank everybody for witnessing my presentation. And a Q&A session will be open for everyone right now. So any questions, you can go ahead and ask me.
So I would like to ask you that depending on like some of the data that you are providing,
Hmm?
so it is like I have to manually create the data set. So if I want to like know in a short briefing, you are creating a manual data set and then you are using your Gen AI with ChatGPT and you made a custom mail sender. So the whole recommendation from the ChatGPT comes and you convert that into a mail, right?
Yes. So we
Okay.
already have existing data for customers. So a lot of the whole purpose of this is to give personalized recommendation because patients don't really know if they need GLP-1 medications or insulin, for example. So this
Yeah.
will just like give like a personalized recommendation of if they just need exercise, here are the exercises. Here's what you need to do for diet. So just that personalized touch that doctors like to do. This will just take that role. Like I mentioned for cost analysis,
Yeah.
if this were to be done by an individual, they'll have to have a doctor who specializes in this, a person who writes the email, and a person who verifies this email. This
Okay.
model does all of this together and eliminates all of that excess work. And it will obviously cost more than this 4.19 million rupees.
So instead, if someone has the recommendation of taking an insulin and the person hasn't taken insulin in the past any of the years, so I think buying insulin requires a medical prescription that they need to show from a registered doctor. So in that case, how you gonna solve that problem? So if I get a recommendation from Gen AI stating that I require insulin to be taken, So, like, I think you need some kind of certifications, like, yes, it is certified by this
Yes,
national
so
government.
that's all of the future and works that will come here. Like I mentioned, insulin right now, doctors are the only ones who can prescribe. Gen AI cannot prescribe it. But
Okay.
like I mentioned in the GPT-4 module, we can train any doctor. For example, let's just take Dr. Rachel, for example. And Dr. Rachel, we need at least minimum of 200 patients that she had observed and she has given prescriptions to. So out of this, we'll take the inputs, like what she is taken as like considerations and what she has given. So for 200 patients, we'll create that and we'll train that model to act like Dr. Rachel's brain in this case, or model. And let's just say we test it out, and 8 out of the 10 predictions are correct for from GPT. And Dr. Rachel is like the other two, I would not do. I would not prescribe this much amount of insulin or this much amount of things. Then what we'll do is I'll take those two inputs, put it back into the 200 and create like 201, 202, etc., etc. But we'll develop this model further and further and further till it's really accurate. And Dr. Rachel says 10 out of 10, I'll recommend all of these recommendations for all 10 of these patients.
Okay.
Future works. I can't, prescription right now is a bit of a challenge, but hopefully during my undergrad, I can work on this more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shiva, Ramesh here. It's a great, I think AI is going to be the next upcoming tool which all the doctors have to see and expand on using it for the patient benefit. I have two queries. One is, so the data or the suggestions what you give from the data you have, it the ChatGPT takes it from the internet, right?
Yes, so it does take it from the internet, and right now,
So I think if you can restrict the internet, because not everything on internet is curated. So the accuracy of the prediction will have to be based on your inclusion of what from where do you take it. So because internet does not require a practitioner or medical background people to suggest these things. There'll be other allied specialties or someone who can just write something, and the ChatGPT probably will also use that in your prediction model. So
for
I
now,
think you can.
I think I get what you mean by GPT a little bit more. GPT has taken, like I mentioned, that 200 minimum. GPT is already a big foundation module. It generally does not. It also takes it based on inputs that it got. But that's where this model that I want to train the future scope comes in. We can take any doctor's prescription and we can
Yeah,
continue. But yeah, you
yeah,
can
yeah.
continue your question.
So that is one thing you'll have to be careful about, because usually it's not the extremes that is problematic for you. Because if he's grossly the HbA1c is very high, the sugars are deranged, your probably model will suggest insulin or anything. Or if it is extremely low, like what example we took it of Sumanto, it's not going to suggest anything. It's just going to suggest you small things. But the problem comes in that middle chunk of people where minute things matter most. So that's where your accuracy has to be more. And I think you'll have to include, I mean, probably not just region wise. Nowadays, there are lot of papers, because diabetes is an evolving science. Nowadays, they are saying that there are a lot of regional or environmental effects for that. So they are suggesting that Indian baseline reference should not be the same as the American Association and all such stuff. So I think you'll have to integrate, instead of doctors. I think you can use recommendations of various societies, probably the American Association, the Indian Association. That will probably improve your uh, predictive
Uh,
model accuracy. The other thing I just wanted to say was, how do you ensure the safety of the data you have? That's one more thing I think you need to be careful about, because more and more, if you don't take care of them now, I mean, it's not any personal details you're taking, but I still think it's good to consider it in your formative period.
Yeah, so this comma separated values, it will be all through Excel, which can be completely locked. So patient safety isn't really the concern because this is like storing data in a hospital. It takes the same measures as hospital data that's being stored. For your other question on other like American Association has a different like diabetes restriction. Indian Association has another
Yeah,
restriction. Yeah, so we can through this like we can have like a region option in the comma separated values as like another one instead of like following like language email address. And this model can not only be trained for one doctor, it can be a hybrid model. So it can take a doctor in
yeah,
like, America, and it can take a doctor in like India,
exactly.
and it
Probably,
can
I think it is going to evolve over time. You start with one or two doctors across nations, and then probably build it on the use of multiple doctors, multiple good doctors, and probably their recommendation will make your model much and much more efficient and accurate, I believe.
but yeah, these are all like future scopes, and I hope to continue this project into a furthermore.
I wish you all the best, man. All the best. I see a great potential in it, and definitely, I think with passing time, it's going to just get better.
And all your questions were amazing, and I've really learned a lot in improving this module as well, a model as well. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for witnessing my presentation today, and thank you for taking your time off to come see this presentation. So I'll stop the sharing and the recording.
Shiva, I was just going to say I can finally talk now. I was going to say it's excellent and well done. That was a lovely presentation. Few things I absolutely love. Love the protocol. Love the emails. Doctor.chatgpt. Love the fact that it you ask what language and that you can send it in whatever language people need. Love those things. Um, what I was thinking about while you were talking was one thing is in the UK, if someone gets their HbA1c and their fasting glucose, usually they would have that done by the general practitioner, the GP, and then the GP would usually tell them what the plan is. So all of this would they cannot get an HbA1c done without having seen the GP in the UK.
Yeah.
Or seeing some doctor. So I think GPs are a really good person to aim this at because they have 5 minutes to see a patient, really no time at all to see a patient, and they have to give them all this information. So GPs would be someone to definitely aim this program at because all they would have to do is give a QR code or say, here's this website, go on to this website. And they would be able to go on and get all of this information. No, the other thing is I wouldn't really call it predicting diabetes because if their HbA1c is high, then they are diabetic.
So, like I mentioned from the last present, sorry if I'm interrupting you, we can't really predict diabetes. This is more like we already, like the patient is maybe at risk.
Yeah,
So we'll just like give an analysis of what he should do to like not be at the risk.
exactly.